girl, Littleflix here, and I'm going to be talking to you today about Season 2 of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, as always, I haven't planned for any of this. I have started Season 3, and I just want to get my thoughts out of Season 2 before I see too much of Season 3, and it could, not predict, change my opinions on things, or on characters, or give me ideas of what might actually happen from things that might have been laid down in Season 2. So, let's just get into it. Season 2. I really did enjoy Season 2. Season 2 was really fun. Season 2 had a lot of different things, and it went in different directions, and it gave me kind of everything I wanted. I got badass Skye on a mission, and I also got her as a gifted or inhuman, which I loved. I got to see more of Cal and her dad, and I really enjoyed his character, to be honest. I had a lot of fun watching him whenever he was acting kind of crazy and, his crazy self. But also finding out a bit more about his backstory and finding out a bit more about her mum did put little things in perspective with him, but also I just really kind of felt for him. And it was very sweet that they gave him a new life at the end. And yeah, I liked watching him. But that's not what we're going to talk about first off. First off, as always, themes for this I've kind of picked up on is always choices, as well as communication, and obviously working a team and team as well. And yeah, mainly communication I think really stood out to me in this one. There's a lot of times where characters weren't communicating with each other until it kind of was all laid out on the table, and also there's times where characters couldn't communicate to each other properly. Fitz. So I found that very interesting. But even when Fitz started to become better and things like that, him and Gemma, oh my god, they struggled this season for communication. It drove me crazy. That's the one thing I was like, no, get in there, guys. That looks wrong. I didn't do that motion. But I really did think that a lot of characters in their communication, especially Coulson as well, and May felt it a lot with the communication being not there because, he's the director now and he doesn't necessarily need to tell May everything. But I think May kind of took that a bit personally, but more personal because of Andrew, which I get. And I'm assuming Coulson was right. Maybe he was actually seeing Andrew somewhat for a actually no, he wasn't, was he? He was seeing him for the Inhuman project, whatever it was called. So yeah, I think maybe I missed something. Damn it. What else? Communication wise, even Skye not communicating with the team what was happening, and Fitz finding out and then both not communicating it to people. That was interesting. And I don't know, I just kind of really want to talk about other things because, yeah. Choices as well, of course. I guess even betrayal is some of a theme in here as well. You've got Ward's betrayal in there. You have Bobby and Mac's betrayal kind of going with the S.H.I.E.L.D. 2.0. As well as also Bobby's betrayal to Agent 33, Kara, if you want to say that. I don't really think it was, anyway, you guys know how I feel about that. But yeah, and I guess also May feeling a bit betrayed by Coulson seeing Andrew behind her back, but yeah, that's kind of also something else I'm picking up on. Oh, and also Fitz obviously feeling a bit abandoned and betrayed, not really betrayed, but more abandoned by Simmons, and also Simmons feeling betrayed by Fitz by him not coming to her about Skye. Like I said, they struggled this season for communication. Let's talk about obviously the big thing, Skye's transformation. I really loved that part of this season, and it got us to know a lot of information about herself and the Inhumans and finding out more about that, but as well as her whole parents and everything like that. Yeah, which is a bit dicey. And new characters, Hunter, Bobby and Mac. Hartley wasn't around for too long in Idaho, so I'm not really kind of including them in this one because I didn't really get to know their characters and didn't really care too much that they died in a way, which is bad, but I just don't, because we had one episode with them. That's it. And Hartley came back in a flashback, but that's it. Maybe she'll be back more, but that's literally it. So Hunter, I didn't particularly love Hunter at the very beginning, did I? Going back because I've released, started releasing season 2 by this point by the point I'm recording this. And yeah, I was kind of just like, oh, shut up, Hunter. Not really, just like, kind of like, why? Oh, good one, they're just leaving them there kind of thing in the first episode. But I get it, like, yeah, of course, he was trying to save Hartley, and as someone pointed out, obviously, that he did offer them to come, but they said no, so that was their own decision. So I don't actually think I really didn't like Hunter. It just seemed like I was a bit harsh on him, but I really grew to love Hunter. I find him really funny. I love his character, and I love their dynamic, him and Bobby's dynamic together. Bobby, I really liked, and then I got a bit fishy with the whole, ooh, hard drive, and ooh, we can't tell him kind of thing. But then I ended up really liking her again, because she was the one who kind of was like not fully against Coulson, it seemed, when people were kind of getting up on him a little bit, and that kind of just disappeared from the story when Afterlife shit happened. But I really do like Bobby a lot, and I'm very, very happy that she survived. And Mac I really liked in the beginning, and I really like him and Fister's friendship and their relationship as well, and how he's a really good friend for him. Well, to everyone really, but there was a really strong connection, I think, with Fitz, and that's what they really showed, in their earlier episodes as well, him building up that communication with him. But then I didn't like him for a while. I started to like him again towards the end because he was, getting back on the horse and getting back with S.H.I.E.L.D. and not being so close-minded, I guess I would say. And of course that whole perspective he had with the whole aliens and him not wanting to be with S.H.I.E.L.D. because of Coulson, because of the alien DNA and everything, and he reckons it's going to awaken something in him, but I don't really think we're going to be getting that. I think we've kind of strayed away from the Kree's DNA to make the drug, and we're more on the inhuman side. At least that's what it seems like from season 2 and the little bit of season 3 that I have started to watch. So I don't think like he's gonna be like overrun by something in him anymore. But I could be wrong. But I just think Mac's whole attitude, and I get it because of the whole the well thing. Not well. The well is season 1. What was the place called when she transformed in somewhere in South America, I want to say. I don't remember where it was, but how he was kind of overtaken by that alien spirit, ghost energy thing. I just don't really, I don't know, I just didn't really get his perspective. I mean, I guess I do, but I just didn't care for it, and it just seemed so prejudiced, and I guess that's what I didn't like about it. But I started to really kind of enjoy him at the end, so we'll see where that goes. But those are the new characters that we had, I'm pretty sure. Obviously Cal, which I mentioned, and her mum, which I think we'll get to when we get to the episodes, me having a quick chat about them. But let's just go through what happened in each episode and see, after a bit of perspective, if any of my opinions have changed. Though I can't really remember a bad episode, to be honest, in this season. Like, I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't think there is, but we'll see. Alright, episode 1, Shadows. Oh, I guess I thought that this was like an okay season opener, but season openers are really hard. I did enjoy it, obviously, but I do think there are also better episodes, but it's still really good. I wouldn't say it's crap at all. And according to IMDb, because that's how I'm viewing it now, that I have the DVDs and I don't want to keep changing the discs over, it's 8.3, so that's higher than the next episode and the next episode, which I personally didn't feel, so we'll see. But yeah, Shadows, just introducing everything, introducing the whole, Whitehall. Yeah, Whitehall. Did not know that was the actor who played Dominic. Oh my God. I am so, just by that. I had no clue. I didn't like him. but I guess he was a good villain. But obviously the whole Hydra thing coming in with it, with World War II flashbacks and Agent Carter, and also that being important because of the obelisk and how it was the original 084, which I also missed the information in this one. And the obelisk obviously being introduced in this, which is obviously a big part of not just Skye's transformation, but also the symbols and stuff that Coulson has been writing from the Kree DNA in his mind with the map. And obviously the car crash and everything at the end of that, killing them too, and yeah, putting it a bit more at stakes, I guess. But it was good. I liked the scenes with Ward and Skye, even though it is quite manipulative on his part. But I don't know, I just really liked them. I thought they were done well, so I enjoyed those scenes. Episode 2, Heavy is the Head. Yeah, actually, I would say that one's probably a bit lower for me on the scale of the start. What? I probably enjoyed it a little less than I did of the season opener, just because I guess I wasn't really 100% sure of Hunter's character yet. And obviously seeing that's such a Hunter thing to do after knowing his character more. I did love Trip's "oh hell no." Thought that was really good. Made me laugh quite a lot. And I guess this episode was needed because it showed Fitz being able to communicate with someone else, and someone else being able to communicate with him and help him through the tough time that he's going through. I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but the whole Gemma being a hallucination and being shown to us as a visualization of what is going through in Fitz's head was a really cool technique. And I really thought that was a really cool way for the audience to get a bit of an inside knowledge of what it's kind of like in his head, the back and forth, and the blockage between it. And I really liked that. And as I mentioned as well, they made her look like she was in season 1, because as we know from watching a bit more of season 2, Gemma, well, she has shorter hair. It's the main difference. She still wears similar things, but she's not really wearing the exact, like, you know, the long sleeve tops with like maybe like a little collar lapel thing, the hair tied up, and not the very quintessential things that we knew that Gemma was wearing a lot of in season 1. So I really like that little detail as well. And it's a bit of a visual cue, you know, for when we go back on, well, for anyone on rewatches, or for anyone just to notice that, oh, they dressed her the same kind of thing. Okay. Episode 3 was Making Friends and Influencing People. I really did like this episode, actually. I have been wanting to see Simmons for a while and find out where she was and what was up with that, and I really didn't enjoy seeing her that way, and she got pretty good at being undercover. I gotta admit, she definitely got a lot better from the hub. And obviously being undercover in Hydra was a bit of a throw, but then obviously, well, her working for Hydra was a throw, but then obviously she was working undercover and everything like that. And Donnie was also in this one again, where he was being brainwashed and controlled by Hydra, which let us also know about Agent 33 going backwards and forwards, making them comply, which I did miss at the time, or I just didn't really piece it together properly. That's what they said with Krill, or whatever his name. Yeah, Krill, in episode 1 and 2. Well, they said it in 2. So he was also a bit brainwashed too. So, you know, that sucks. Yeah, Simmons had a very interesting character development this season. She got quite dark. She got very dark. She got very scary at times, actually. But we'll get into that a little bit more as well. Actually, you know what? I'll just say it now because I might forget, because I'm only getting pictures of like little steals from the episodes. I'm not really going through it to make sure I know what's happened in the episode. She got very scary with the way she was talking about Inhumans, and that's the reason why Fitz didn't want to share their knowledge about Skye right then and there with her, because the way she was talking about Raynor and other Inhumans and how they're dangerous and blah, blah, blah. She did sound like she was kind of going on a crusade, but at the same time, I guess she wouldn't. But she also said something really bad. She said, "I'm not trying to change Skye, I'm trying to fix her." And Fitz obviously said, like, oh, like you wanted to fix me or something like that from memory. That was a really bad thing to say. She should have said, "I'm not trying to change her, I'm trying to help her." Fix her implies that something is wrong with her, and there was nothing wrong with Skye. You know, it's just wrong choice of words, and it kind of did show a bit more of Gemma's thought process, and that's also kind of why I'm still stating she's kind of a little bit yeah, I kind of more agree with Fitz not saying it straight away because the way that she was acting and the things that she was saying. And another thing as well, her trying to kill Ward, like I didn't think she would actually like go to try. I mean, she did warn him, but I didn't think that she would actually full on try. And she killed the other guy instead, who I can't remember his name of. And oh my god, if this dog keeps barking, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I love dogs, but that dog is a dickhead. Sorry, but it is. The owners don't know how to have a dog. Like, they positive reinforce it for barking. Anyway, different story. But yes, anyway, episode 3, I really did enjoy it, and it was really good seeing Gemma, and it was also really good seeing her starting of the character development and the change of being, you know, a better, like, undercover agent. Episode 4 was Face My Enemy. A really fun episode, actually. I loved Coulson and May undercover together. That was really funny. And of course, the whole scene where May was laughing and everyone was like, what was that? It was really good. Really funny. I liked that one. And obviously a very important thing with Hydra and the face mask technology that we saw with Agent 33 and also her becoming May. That became a really big part of this whole season, especially for her character, Agent 33 Kara. Just the May on May fight, I just love Coulson. Like, can't believe anyone else isn't seeing this. That was really good. And also, just that whole fight sequence with them was so good. I loved the move where May, like scissor kicked up in the air and then, like, to turn her body around and then smacked Agent 33's head on the coffee table. Obviously, it probably wasn't the actors, but it was sick. I really liked it, and you guys know that I did because I went back and watched it. But I really liked this episode. I thought it was a really good episode as well to kind of make Coulson and Talbot's relationship a little bit more on the better side, if that makes sense. I don't know where I was going, but instead of just them being like, oh, we have to stop S.H.I.E.L.D. and then, oh, we have to avoid them, it became more like, hey, let's kind of work together. And obviously that becomes more important later on. I don't know if you can actually hear it, but I can, and it's enough. The dog. But yeah, it became very important later on when Ward and Agent 33 Kara were trying to infiltrate his... They're the military, but I don't know what military. So I just say the office. And him believing him that someone was using his wife's face, for example, because he already knew it could be done based off this episode. And yeah, liked that. Episode 5, A Hen in the Wolf House, which was when Bobby was introduced. And also missing Raina a couple of things with Orbalisk and the dad being thing, but yeah, that was good. I guess. Yes, this one was with Bobby, and that whole scene when she was walking down the corridor with the batons or whatever was so cool. And her obviously helping Simmons and her being a bit like, what? Was really good. Raina as well with the threat to expose her, and Coulson's like, do it. He's like, you think I don't got a plan B? That was really good. And also I kind of liked it because it brought Gemma back. But yeah, I really can't remember what else happened in that episode though. That's the bad thing about it. Maybe I'll go through my file. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I feel like I'm missing things otherwise. Episode 5. Yes, and this was also when they recruited Raina to be like an undercover spy for S.H.I.E.L.D., which was interesting, but didn't really play it on too much because, yeah, they didn't really use it too much apart from when she was being found kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, Raina, she's still around, because she thought it was Agent May, but it was actually Agent 33. Also, for some reason, I didn't really realize when Bobby was back at S.H.I.E.L.D. that she was actually blonde and she was a brunette in these scenes at Hydra. Well, let me see which one I prefer. I'm just gonna let it play for a little bit. I'm so used to seeing her a bit blonder, but I think the dark hair really suits her. Really brings out like her intense eyes. Yeah, Simmons was saved. I think that was pretty much about it with this one, and Raina being recruited. Simmons and Fitz seeing each other, which was pretty awkward. And then us finding out that Bobby was his ex-wife was pretty good, because after all the things that we heard about her, I thought that was a kind of a nice little thing there. Alright, and then Cal at the end of this episode went to Whitehall / Hydra to give him the Orbalisk to work together. He was just using him to get to Daisy Sky. Yeah, I know she's Daisy now. Let's just cat's out of the bag. That's good though. I'm calling her Daisy. I struggle a bit with that in season 3, as you all see. I think I know what episode 6 is. Oh, is it 7 that I'm thinking of? Yeah, episode 7 is what I'm thinking of. Oh, cool. So this episode was really focused on Ward and them releasing him and his brother Christian, and then bringing that in, and he's like a senator or a politician after S.H.I.E.L.D. He didn't really last very long though, so I don't really care. And also Gemma saying, you know, if I ever see your face again, I will kill you. More just character building between Bobby with the new characters and everything, as well as developing for us, showing Hunter and her dynamic. I think this was an okay episode. I think for me, I really enjoyed the next episode, which was Ward on the Run, which I found very interesting because it just actually shows he is a good spy. You just wish he was on the good side, not the bad side of being a good spy, but he still is a really good spy. Oh, also, yeah, I forgot to say, the ending was teased with this guy that we didn't know who had the symbols being tattooed on him, and it opens with him killing another person. Maybe it's not 7, maybe it's 8 that I'm thinking of then. No, it's definitely this one. Yeah, when Ward's on the run and stuff, and they're kind of tailing him to find out where he's going. And it's also Coulson finding out what's in his head and about the Tahiti project, and him remembering, because he went back into the thing, him remembering, you know, people talking to him and us seeing the visualization of that, and to find out who the one was killing them. Yeah, and then we end up, you know, he went to the guy's place to try and kill the other guy, tried to kill him, and then, you know, we get the whole, oh, they're building it the whole time kind of thing. It's, oh, my mouse fell. It's a map, I was going to say, to a city, which is where the obelisk and everything and the transformation things all happen. Yeah, and that's a really good teaser episode as well. It's also ends with Ward calling Sky saying, I'm going to drop you off presents from now on out, you know, blah, blah, blah. But that didn't really stay for too long. As you all know, episode 7 didn't really record properly, so I'm going to go into, obviously by the point you see this, I would have gone into a bit more detail about that. Yeah, I'm just so angry about that. I'm so angry still, and so angry. It was such a good episode, and it was such an important episode, and I just, it drives me bananas. But let's move on to, oh yeah, sorry, episode 6 was called A Fractured House, episode 7 was Writing on the Wall, episode 8 is The Things We Bury. Let's have a little look-see-poo what this one's about. What does actually IMDb say? Coulson and the team find themselves in an epic face-off against Hydra to uncover an agent's secret, while Ward kidnaps his brother, Senator Christian Ward, for a violent trip down memory lane. Yeah, it was pretty violent. Found the well, made him confess that, you know, he was the one who made him beat up his brother, still not taking any ownership of it. But also, watching this made me remember, because I think I kind of forgot, that his parents weren't also very great. They were quite, seems abusive as well in some shape. I don't think, or maybe physically, but I'm not 100% sure if it was physically. Just knew that they were shit-ass parents, basically. But still, doesn't mean you have to be a shit-ass person from it. There's also the flashbacks as well of them in the Whitehall in the 70s. No, the 40s, trying to find out what the obelisk does and what it is, and how, you know, it chooses some people and it doesn't choose others. And we are introduced to Sky's mum. You know what? I think I need to figure out how to actually pronounce her name, because I don't know, and I'm the worst at pronouncing names. I just get such an anxiety over it. Like, I don't want to, like, butcher anyone's name, but then when they're just names that I don't know because I'm uncultured, I just get, like, you know? That's what I hate about work, when I'm calling people's names, and I just, it's the worst feeling. I'm going to say Deachin, right? It has to be Deachin. Deachin Latchman. Yeah, I'm saying Deachin. Deachin was introduced, which I was surprised to see her in, but I was glad to see her in because, as you guys know, who've come to Dollhouse or who've watched it, I really do like her in Dollhouse quite a lot. And yeah, we find out that, well, they find out as well that, you know, she can touch it and not be hurt. I don't think we actually know yet, though, that it's Sky's mum. We just know it's that person, but obviously in retrospect I know it's her mum. They have the Hibachi. I don't know what his name is, dude. I forget. It's not important. He sucks. Obviously, Ward killed his brother in this one, which is a big thing, and his family as well. Like, that was a little uncalled for. Like, you didn't have to, like, kill his family. But I guess he didn't want any witnesses.
Hey y'all, Editing Little Flicks here. Sorry this sounds a little bit different, I'm just not next to my microphone right now, but I quickly just wanted to say that I recorded this review before I actually found out that he didn't kill his brother's family, it was actually his parents. So by what I said just then, I meant his parents. And yeah, that's all I wanted to quickly just note, and let's get back to the review.
Yeah, this is when we find out that S.H.I.E.L.D. captured Whitehall a long time ago. I'm not sure if this is the episode where maybe it's in the end credit sequence where, you know, we find out that he grew old. No, it's in here. He grew old. And then we also find out that, it was in the 80s or something, and that Deechan's character still looked young, and that they kind of used her body and stuff to make him young. This is when when Trip gets hurt and Kyle comes in to help him, and then he kind of is threatening his life to Coulson because he feels like he stole his daughter away from him. That was a really cool moment, I thought, actually. I just found it really funny. I just love him. He's so good. Yeah, and this is the one I'm pretty sure. Yes, this is where we find out that she is her mum, and that Whitehall killed her, and that he wants revenge on Whitehall, but is also working with them to get to the ends of his means. Okay, this is taking way too long. I wanted this to be a bit shorter and sweeter and more concise, but I guess if I wanted that, I would have prepared. Episode 9, He Who Enter Here. It's when they go into the alien city, and Raina is there as well. That's just really setting everything into motion for the next episode. Obviously, Mac gets possessed by the alien thing down in there. I don't really know what else happened in that episode from the top of my head. I'm seeing the still that IMDb has for the next episode, and Sky like this in the transformation. I'm just like, yes, I just want to get there. Oh yeah, we had that really weird dream sequence from Sky in the beginning. Oh, Raina comes back into it, and it's Agent 33, and she's on the run, and S.H.I.E.L.D. help her. I think they found out that Ward's brother died. Yep, and they're like, well, you know, that Grant did that. A nice little moment with Bobby and Gemma, showing their friendship kind of developing, which is cute. Agent 33 and Sky fighting together. Yeah, it's really just them trying to find where the place is for this one. I think this was probably... Like, I found it interesting because we were learning more things and stuff, and I liked it. But in retrospect, it's probably not the greatest episode because it's really setting up the next one, which is a really good episode. The lighting and stuff when Mac was down there with the blue light was really cool, though, of course. And this is when Ward actually takes Sky to meet her dad. That's an important part of it. Yeah, I think next episode is better. What they become. I think what they become. Which is really 9.3, of course, on IMDb. Yeah, this episode was fantastic. Not only did she get to meet her dad, but we got to see him trying to, like, be more calm and be, you know, who we wanted her to meet kind of thing. We also, you know, find out that Sky can touch the obelisk without it hurting her, and Whitehall also knows that she is his daughter, the daughter of Deechan's character, because I don't remember her name, so sorry. And also, you know, Raina coming back into it and taking the obelisk and using it in the cave for the mist to come out, and Trip getting in there. I don't think when this happened, when Trip actually died, I don't think I really reacted too much to it. I haven't edited the episode yet, and I think that's going to annoy a lot, well, already has annoyed a lot of people probably, just because I was so focused on what was happening at the time. Everything was just going crazy, and I thought Sky was dying as well with the whole thing going over her, and I was just like, what? Huh? What? And then like that whole thing where it all flew off her, and it was just such a beautiful scene, and it was just like such good slow motion. I just kind of forgot about it. And I know a lot of people out there really love Trip, and I really like Trip too, but also he died really quickly in season 2. I wonder why they did that. Was he like wanting to leave the show or something? Or they just decided to kill him for like, we gotta kill someone. I don't know, but I feel like Trip had more to offer. And I think that's also why people are really upset, because he was killed off really quickly. But it's also because of that I don't necessarily feel super like sad about it. He wasn't in the beginning of season 1. He came in towards the end of that. Well, I guess mid, but more towards the end of him actually being around more. So really, probably all up, he was still only... He didn't even make up enough episodes to be in for an entire season. So I guess maybe that's why. But I did really start to like him. I thought he was funny, brought a lot of lightheartedness to the group, and then he just died. Cool. But I guess the reason why he was down there is because Skye was his partner and she was in trouble and he was trying to do the right thing. And really, he thought, he kicked the Orbalisk to stop doing whatever it was doing. Everyone thought that's what saved Skye, but not the time. But his last actions were heroic. Heroic. What? Yeah, that word. So yeah, this episode was fantastic. And also, I did notice that Rhaena's eye looked a little bit different, but you didn't really see too much else, and then you just were focused on Skye, and as I said, I was I was focused on that. So, really liked that episode. The next episode, Aftershocks, is a nice little title because it's the aftershock of everything happening and Trip dying, but it's also her powers being, tremors and stuff. This episode I really liked Fitz and Skye relationship developing, how he understands exactly what she's going through and doesn't really want people to look at her differently, like everyone was looking at him differently, or treat her like she needs to be fixed, Gemma. And he was protecting her, and I really loved that, and how she was just crying and hugged him. That was a really good moment because I felt like you hadn't really seen much of them this season. Like they weren't really spending much time together or connecting as much as they were back in season 1. So that was really nice to see that. I do think the scene I'm talking about is in the next episode, but the deleted scene of him telling her that he was hallucinating Gemma, I think was such an important scene as well. Not just for Fitz telling someone about it and rationalizing what was happening for himself, but to someone else, and letting someone else in and becoming, again, in a more vulnerable state willingly, as well as them deepening their connection and their appreciation for each other, and how he was helping her in this situation, and her as well for his situation. I thought that was a really bad decision to cut that scene. I guess you could have tried to trim it down a little bit, but I just thought that needed to be there. I thought it was super important, and it really I wish that was in there. And sometimes when, I think I said this in deleted scenes, when you watch deleted scenes, you're just like, oh yeah, I see why that was cut. It didn't really add anything else to the scene. It still made sense without it. But that one I thought was really important from a character development perspective, especially for Fitz, and especially for their friendship in this season. So I did think that was a mistake to cut that one out, but whatever. Let's go back to episode 11 though, Aftershocks. The shot when she made everything explode in the background when Fitz was confronting her was really cool, and I'm pretty sure I have to still use that as the thumbnail because it's just such an awesome shot, and awesome slow motion. I'm a bit of a sucker for well used slow motion, and if it's not too slow, because sometimes slow motion can be slow motion. But let's have a quick look to make sure I'm not missing anything else in this episode. I am missing something else in this episode entirely. I'm also, we're missing the opening scene back in, the 80s or whatever, with Deachin's character in the room with with Gordon, who we don't know yet, but he's just as a teenager, and he's just transformed, and she's helping him through it. And Skye's being in quarantine, which, rings still true to what's happening here at the moment. Well, not here, in the world. Rhaena killing people and getting free, and them trying to capture her to bring her into S.H.I.E.L.D., and obviously Gordon taking her away to Afterlife, and we don't see her for a very long time. The whole elaborate scheme to get to Hydra to kill them, making sure they cut off all their heads, that was good. Cal being excited that Skye transformed, and them taking him back as a prisoner. And that's pretty much it. Now I've gone through it a bit more. And then this episode was the tease with Bobby and Mac about the whole plan with the other dudes, which now that we've got there, I can say I hated that so much. I wasn't a fan of it at all. I wasn't a fan of them trying to overtake Coulson and trying to push him out. But then, like, they kind of were and kind of weren't. And then it kind of just changed as soon as, you know, they went to go negotiate to try and make, you know, peace offering with the Inhumans in Afterlife. But I didn't like it. I still don't like it. That whole plot with Mac and Bobby, I just didn't like it. And I get what I technically get from their perspective, wanting to make sure nothing like Hydra happens again, but I just didn't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I just don't. And it caused more problems between Hunter and Bobby than I thought that was needed, but I guess you need drama. But they have enough drama in their life. They're exes. So ex-husband and ex-wife, that comes with a lot more complications when you get back together. Not really. What the hell am I talking about? I've never been married. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of it at all. Who You Really Are, we saw Lady Sif again, which was interesting, but obviously she had her memory kind of wiped from the Kree, which was very interesting seeing one. But also, this was more interesting on the information that we got about the Orbalisk and Inhumans and how they were designed to be weapons for the Kree, and when they realized they made a mistake, they started to assassinate them. That is my memory of it anyway, and even Lady Sif as an Asgardian knew about it and knew they were bad news, which is bad if two different creatures who hated each other can agree on something. And this was obviously when Skye couldn't control what was happening and iced herself to make sure she wasn't hurting anyone. So I liked that episode. Lady Sif was funny in it with losing her memory and some of the things she said, but the thing that was most interesting to me was the information we got about Inhumans and about Skye, and that's kind of what I draw most from it. Everything else was kind of just like, yeah, it was there. It's not something that I really remember, but a good episode nonetheless. Episode 13, season 2, One of Us is Cal kind of going around and recruiting the people on the Index who, you know, have been contained by S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff, and creating his little, you know, posse. Basically to get to Coulson, to kind of kill him for taking Skye away. Well, Daisy, we do know her name's Daisy now. That's something I forgot to mention from the episode where she met him. And Skye trying to get a hold on her abilities, and I think they brought Andrew in as well to help with that. Simmons and Fitz being a bit on the outs after last episode because she felt like she lied to him, but them also kind of reconnecting the way like Fitz walked in on Andrew and May having a conversation in the kitchen. That was funny, and them talking about that was really cute. I liked that moment quite a lot. Yeah, that was when Gordon came and actually took Cal away to Afterlife, and they kept him locked in there, and he had to go see the person. And this is when I said, like, oh, maybe it's the mum. Like, no, she's dead. But I was right. But I also thought I wouldn't have been right. But I was. So that was cool. Episode 14, Love in the Time of Hydra. Yeah, this is when I think the end of the last episode, I think, was when Hunter confronted Mac about everything and then kind of took him hostage. This was Agent 33 and Ward trying to get her face mask all fixed and everything so she didn't have to have the scar and everything on it. And they do that, and they kill the dude, of course. No, this is actually, that end sequence happened earlier. This is Hunter actually meeting them all. I don't even want to talk about it. This was when she also used Skye's face to make out with Ward, thinking that's what he wanted, and I just thought that was super funny. This was the one, was it? Yes, this was the one when they infiltrated Talbot's office, the military, and this is where Hunter escaped, and they're all going after, yeah. And this is when they broke out the dude and made him comply. Yeah, alright. That was alright. I don't know, I didn't love it, I guess, because I didn't really love that whole story of the other S.H.I.E.L.D. Which is why I guess I don't even really like this next episode all that much, One Door Closes, just because it's the whole, like, going... I mean, it's good to show what they went through when Hydra came up, but everyone was having a shit day that day. It wasn't just you guys, you know? And, you know, this was when she thought she could go back in and savor the situation of what was happening, which didn't really work out because they all knew that she was doing something. I didn't love it. The only thing that I liked about it was Skye's whole thing at the end when they were trying to bring her in, and she used her powers to push all the trees down and stuff, and I don't care whether the dude got impaled, and then Gordon came and picked her up. to go to Afterlife, which is what the next episode is. Afterlife. This was very interesting because we obviously get more information about Inhumans. We meet Lincoln for the first time. So, I don't know, is this one we find out that Deachin's character is still alive? I don't even remember anymore, but that was a moment. Yeah, I liked that episode, purely just for the Afterlife part of it and Sky's journey. Melinda, episode 17 was really good because we actually find out what happened and why she's known as the Cavalry and why she really hates people calling her that because she killed a child who happened to be inhuman turned too early, who kind of lost her mind and was controlling everyone, and they were all linked up, and when she killed them they all died, and everyone, did they all die? Yeah, and everyone thought she took out someone who killed the whole team by herself, but really it wasn't that at all. And it was so interesting again to get the what Coulson said to her at the end, which we did hear about in the first time in season 1. I really liked that callback. It was awesome. I really liked this episode because we find out exactly what happened in May's past, and it's also connected with the Inhumans and Sky as well. So that's cool. Episode 18, Frenemy of My Enemy. Mike's back. I wish I didn't see his name in the thing. I did, didn't I? Yeah, because I wasn't surprised when, he pulled down the plane thing ramp. As you guys obviously probably have noticed. Hopefully, actually, maybe not, but I am covering names now because I'm sick of it and I don't want to see it anymore. This episode was... Oh yeah, Fitz left in the last episode. That's what happened. As like a ploy, and he's out in the field and they meet up and stuff, and they're going to go to war to get the information. That's what's happening. Yeah, loved seeing Fitz like that. Yeah, it was interesting seeing Ward and Agent 33, and they all were like gagging because of their cutesy crap. I really hate them calling each other baby a lot. Really hate it, or babe, or whatever it was. I'm not really a big fan of that as to begin with. Fitz loses his shit as well at Ward when he was trying to talk to him, and I was just like, don't. Yeah, and this is when they were planning on locking Cal up, and she wanted to take him out for a little bit, as a day thing, for her to tell him so he wouldn't feel so abandoned and betrayed when it happened. Obviously, that still happened when they're all up there fighting, and that's when Lincoln and Mike get taken by Hydra as well. Well, this was interesting because, they saw Sky quickly, and then she was taken by Gordon, which was important information for when Raina says that Coulson was with Ward, and she's like, hey, I saw them together, because she's, got future visions. Episode 19, The Dirty Half Dozen. This is when Ward kind of comes back onto the oh, thank God. I thought something went wrong with the recording. It's all good. All good, guys. All good. Yes, this is when she says, I saw Lincoln and stuff being, tortured and things. And they team up with Ward to go in and rescue Lincoln and Mike. This was when Simmons says, I'm going to kill him, and actually tries to, which was scary. This is when Raina tells Sky so she would go. And it's when Deachin's character becomes a bit more suspicious about her intentions and talks to Cal about how she's manipulative and everything like that, which is very true. This is when Ward finds out that Sky has powers. And it's also when she saves Lincoln by using his electricity to kind of pulsate through him. So that was kind of cool. And this is when Ward leaves and Agent 33 is there, which is the ploy to get Bobby to torture her for, selling her out to Hydra. And yeah, that was a good episode. I know, I feel like everything at the end was just so, good that I don't know what to say. Episode 20, Scars. I think I know what this one is. This is the one where where S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to go and talk to the Inhumans to create a peace treaty kind of thing, and then we find out Deachin's character actually is kind of crazy evil and kills the guy instead. It's one of the freaking rock as well. Right. They're trying to get... Wait, did I click a different episode? No, it's when she has the vision about the rock. The monolith. And then they try... Yeah, and then that's when they become... Yeah, that's what creates the tension, because I think they're going to use it against the Inhumans because it can be a weapon in the wrong hands, which I still don't know how. But we'll find out hopefully in season 3 at some point. And this is when shit really all goes down because she wages war against them and, shoots herself to make it look like they were doing it. Yeah, this one was, I knew something was gonna go wrong. And something really did go wrong. And obviously that was when Bobby was kidnapped by them. And SOS Part 1 and Part 2, I thought was a really great ending to the season. Was the official, like, first Part 1, Part 2 episodes as well. The torture scenes weren't fun to watch of Bobby, but she's a badass. And she almost escaped after hours and hours of being tortured against two people. Like, that's just how strong she is. And obviously she dodged in front of the gun and the bullet for Hunter to save him. And I thought it went through her heart or her head. First it was her head, then I thought when I saw it as a chest, maybe it was her heart. But it just was a bit more like up here. And I'm very, very happy she didn't die. I was going to be very upset about that. I loved that May used the walkie-talkies or intercoms or whatever you want to call them to, you know, lure Agent 33 down there with her face, and Ward killed her like that. Loved it. So good. But obviously that's what made him go to Hydra in the end, which, you know, whatever, Ward, I don't care anymore. Go away. This is obviously really interesting at the start of the Part 1 where Skye was really torn between two worlds, Shields and in her, you know, her parents, technically her legacy, her heritage, in the afterlife, and her fighting May was really good to see. But also, you're not going to beat May. She trained you. She knows exactly what you're going to do in her moves. The only way she beat her was with her powers, which I'm not upset about. But that's what it takes to beat May, because she's just that good. And also, Raina, knowing that she was going to die, but Skye was going to be a pivotal part of saving them all, was interesting. And the reason why she knew that was because she knew that Skye would see her mum kill her. So even though Raina was a manipulative person and was all in it for herself and would use anyone to get what she wanted, in the end she kind of had like a selfless death, because she knew that's what was going to happen, but she knew that it would bring peace to the people that she fell a part of. I don't think the others took a bit of offense of her saying my people, but you know what I mean? So I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm just like, well, that was Raina. Bye. But also I see why she sacrificed herself. But also I didn't think straight away when she died that I'll miss her. I enjoyed her character. I thought she was very interesting. But in this season, she kind of took a really big back seat until the last couple episodes when we knew she could see the future. And then she just died as a sacrifice, you know. But no, she wasn't a sacrifice. She sacrificed herself. That implies something completely different. But it's kind of sad not to see her around anymore. But I'm not sure at the same time if her character could offer us anything different or anything more, enough to develop her over, you know, more seasons. So I kind of thought it was a good end to her after, you know, how we saw her kind of being on the evil side. But she was just, you know, in it for herself to get the information about the obelisk, really, and all that stuff. But, you know, so I'm not terribly upset about that, I guess. It was more upsetting for Skye to see her mum kill someone, which then switched her back onto S.H.I.E.L.D.'s side, kind of. Well, not kind of, it did. And them trying to capture her and keep her around and stuff, and then Mac breaking her out, which is when I really started to like Mac again, when he, you know, came back on board and everything on the ship. I thought Fitz was a goner for a second with them and Gordon in the area with the monolith. Well, I don't think it was in there at the time, but they took, yeah. I thought he was dead. I thought he got impaled, but it was Gordon who got impaled. Yeah, Coulson grabbed the crystal with the mist in it so it wouldn't explode and kill them all, and then his hand started to go, and I thought for a second that it was going to be okay, but it wasn't. And then he chopped his hand off. Well, actually, when they touch the mist, or the mist does it, that happens anyway. And if they've got the gene in them, it falls off and they are reborn. And Mac just cut his arm off straight away. His hand, well, like here, it seemed, from memory, off straight away. How do we know that he couldn't have transformed? I mean, I don't think he would have. I think it was a good idea to cut his hand off. Very smart thinking on his behalf, but you just don't know now, do you? But at least he's alive, and you can't just let it go and like, oh, let's hope for the best. But he did have the alien DNA in him. Yeah, that's what I said, didn't I? I said something like, but he's got the DNA in him, why? it's not going to hurt him or something, and then it decided to do. Oh, I wonder now. Interesting. I don't know if that will come up again, but it's just a little food for thought for myself. But I honestly loved these 2 episodes to end the season. It was great, and you had a really sweet moment with Cal and Daisy together, and you get the mission for what the next episode is going to be. Season's going to be really is to find the Inhumans and kind of build a task force where they can be used for good, and and not being like hunted or like living in secret or anything. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I don't remember if there was an end credit sequence. How could I forget the end fucking credit sequence? Ugh, they were just planning their date, and then that happened. I couldn't believe it. I was so angry. You guys saw me go like, ugh, in the chair. Yes, unfortunately, I do know what happens with that, so I'm not going to say anything. You guys can just wait. But I had a lot of theories on that one. Not really, but I had some theories, so that will be interesting to see. But I'm just was like, why? Why do they hate me? Why do they hate Fitz and Simmons? Why? But yeah, it was really good ending to the show. Really good setup for season 3, and a really good tease into season 3 with her being sucked into that thing, the rock. Oh wow, I wanted to make this shorter and it's still very long. Well, that's pretty much it. I really did like season 2. I loved a lot of things in it, and it was very fast paced, like season 1 was, but we know the characters more and we can get in that pacing straight away. We don't really have to worry about developing the characters in the first few episodes or anything. We can just really get into it. As much as I loved it, there were things that I didn't like about this season either, which really is the whole other Shield trying to take over Coulson. That's just me personally. It's just not a story that I wanted to see within it, and I was just always like thinking whenever that story was on, I was just like, can we just go back to Skye in Afterlife? I just want to see that. So a fantastic season all over though, of course. Oh, I didn't say what my favorite episodes were. Honestly, part 1, SOS part 1 and 2 are probably one of my favorites. Yeah, and also, what was the episode called? Whatever the episode was when she transformed. I loved that episode. That was fantastic. So, they're my favorites of this season. Yeah, well, that was my, thoughts and opinions on season 2. Hopefully this was more succinct once I rewatch it and edit it a little bit here and there than it was in my head saying it now. But thank you all so much for watching and joining me on the review, and I hope you really enjoyed season 2, and I will see you soon for season 3. Bye!